Hello, everyone, and welcome to Freshman Maximizing Your Success, School Success. I am Miss Nobles, and also the ninth grade counselor. And I also have Mr. McGuire here, our esteemed principal. He's assisting me for a little while today. Um, so I like to get things started on time. So I did put on the bottom, you'll see a banner that says place your questions in the comments. So if you have any questions, please place those, in the comments. And then at the end, we will come back and address your questions. So we're going to go ahead and get started with the PowerPoint. Okay, if I can get to the PowerPoint. There we go. Again, my name is Miss Nobles, and I am the ninth grade counselor. And the purpose of today's presentation is to enhance the likelihood of your students' academic success, and that's going to be through providing valuable information. It's going to be to learn who your resources are in the counseling department. I know many of the students are already aware, but I did want to go back and just do a brief overview of all of the resources and people that make up our counseling department, and just give a um, just some things that they do, just in case your student has a question, they will know exactly who they can go to. We're gonna be providing information about Georgia high school graduation requirements, providing strategies on how to maximize your success, and now and in the future. I'm gonna highlight Woodville's responsibility to you. That means how are we assisting you get to the achieve the goals that you're seeking to achieve. And then we're going to help you realize your personal responsibility in your own education journey. So on this slide, you're going to see myself. You'll see I am the 9th and 12th grade counselor, as well as the dual enrollment coordinator. And then you'll also see my email address here on the screen, anita.nobles@sccpss.com. And then you're also going to see Dr. Miller. Dr. Miller, I did not update his grade level, so I do apologize for that. He does have 10th and 11th grade this year, and his email address is jamel.miller@sccpss.com. And I did provide that because a lot of times I may not a lot of times, but if I'm not here and your student needs to see someone, Dr. Miller and I work together, even though we have specific grade levels. We do not, if a student is in need, we do address that need of that student no matter the grade level. So I do want them, your students, to be familiar with who Dr. Miller is, so they would know who to look for if I am not here. As well as you will see that with dual enrollment, I will be talking more about dual enrollment next year as your students are preparing to go into that program, because it is not eligible, as ninth graders, they are not eligible for dual enrollment at this time. But we'll be talking more about that next year as we are looking to prepare them more for that dual enrollment program. And on the side right here, you're going to just see just a list of things that we do. Now, a lot of times, parents and students may say, well, you know, what do I actually need to go and seek assistance for? What do I need to go to the counselor for? And this is just a few things that you can, if you're having issues with these things, you can come see us in terms of, um, and I'm not going to read the whole thing, but just serving as advocates for your students' well-being and academic success. If they're having problems with getting work, especially since we've been in COVID, a lot of times your students are out and they may be having some difficulty getting work or getting information to a teacher. We can always facilitate that and assist with that. We can help students identify academic achievement strategies. How, what is the best way for them to learn in a particular subject or class. So that is another thing that we have our students with. We are looking at helping them formulate a plan for college, military, or the workforce, as well as establishing individual graduation plans. So we do bring the students in. We do sit down with them and do their checklist, and then to help them identify what is needed for graduation. We mediate conflict between students and teachers, and conflict between the students and peers as well. So I do want you to read through this list of things that we do. It's not everything that we do, but it may help you if you're wondering, what are some things that I can go see my counselor for. Now, this slide here is going to be our guidance clerk, Michelanda Moore. She's the very first office when you come into the main office here before you get to the nurse. And let's say, for instance, you may be having a hard time for some reason getting in touch with me or another counselor or Dr. Miller, perhaps. So what you would do is stop by Miss Moore's office and say, Miss Moore, can I schedule an appointment? I haven't been able to get in touch with Miss Nobles, but can you schedule an appointment for me? She would put your name down. She would advise me of that information, and then I can call you, and then we can address any concern that you have. So she is going to be good at assisting you with scheduling appointments. She also answers and relay phone call messages from parents as well as students. She maintains the process for students' academic records. So if you are, wanting to find out if your students' records were obtained or sent off, you can always contact Miss Moore. Uh, she is also good for if you need a transcript. You can also go to Miss Moore to get that transcript, and just many other things. And so I did want the students, if they have not met Miss Moore, I wanted her to make them aware of who she is, and then show her her gorgeous picture as well. So that is Miss Yolanda Moore, our guidance clerk. And Miss Brooks here is our information specialist. You'll see her email address up here as well. And she provides support to schools and internal departments for overall collection and maintenance of data for the student information system. And that means, so for instance, if your student needs a certificate of enrollment, a COA, which you purchased on School Cash, they can get that from Miss Miss Brooks. And then if they also need, if the parent, as the parent may need a document filled out for Social Security, Miss Brooks is in charge of that. She can get that completed for you in return. And then Ms. Brooks also updates student information in Power School. So if you have recently moved or need to update anything in Power School, you would contact Ms. Brooks to get that done as soon as possible. I know a lot of times we send out correspondence to parents, and it does, return to the school. So it is imperative that, if you want to stay informed, to make sure that you update that information if it has changed with Miss Brooks. Um, and then if you have any concerns about documents or data regarding grades or anything like that, you can contact Miss Brooks, because she is in charge of entering our grades, and questions about tardies or doctor's notes. All of that stuff is turned into Miss Brooks. She also answers any pre-K inquiries. So if you have a ninth grader here or another student, and you also are hoping for your younger child to attend, then Miss Brooks is the person that you would contact in regards to pre-K. And this slide is just talking about our counseling department. You can email me if you would like to meet, or you can use the QR code. We did send out a QR code to our teachers, and we did post it in the front office. I know some students may not have a phone. So if you want to just send me an email and request a meeting, you can do that. Or you can go to our website, and I did provide the link to our website, and schedule a meeting on that on our particular website. Now, when you go to the website, it's going to say virtual because I just haven't updated that or removed that virtual part yet. But once you go in there and you go through the process of, you go to our website, you click on the school counseling program tab, you'll locate my profile, and then you'll schedule an appointment. And I know that you want that appointment to be in person if you put it in the notes. And that's why I did put in the notes section, please explain why we are meeting. So put in there that why we are meeting, and then also put in there if you prefer to have an in-person um, meeting. That way I can call you from class. However, if you prefer for your parent to be present and you want to keep a virtual meeting, then leave it virtual. But it would be best if you want me to just pull you from class and you have a question, then just put, I prefer the in person. So I did want to kind of briefly touch on the work permit. We do have a lot of students come up in regards to work permit. Mr. Jeffrey Robinson is our contact person regarding work permits at Woodville, and his email is jeffrey.robinson@seccpss.com, as well as he is right across from my office. So a lot of times if students come up, they may just pop their head in and ask Mr. Robinson a question regarding the work permits. Mr. Robinson is also our work-based learning coordinator. So he has a first block, he has a class, and then the students are able to come see him after first block if they wanted to speak to him in person regarding work permit. I also provided Mr. Ronald Akins information. He is the district's designee regarding work permits. So either Mr. Robinson or Mr. Akins would be able to assist your child with information regarding work permit. And then I do want to go ahead because sometimes a lot of stuff can be done without before having to meet Mr. Robinson or Mr. Akins. And I did provide the instructions for obtaining an online employment certificate. And so that is what you see at the bottom right there. That's the link to complete that form for the work permit. So I wanted to go over the student's responsibility and the parents' role and the school's role, because it's important that we all work together in making sure that our students and your children are on track, and they are going doing everything they need to be as successful as possible. So I'm going to start with the student's role in their academic success. And the first thing is going to be personal responsibility. So students have to be able to acknowledge their role and what they're doing to make themselves successful. So if you know that you're not studying, or you know that you're not making time to, if you're having issues and you're not making time to meet with your teacher or staying for tutorial, you can't say that your teacher's not doing a good job, your counselor's not doing a good job. You have to be able to take personal responsibility for your actions and your role in your academic success. You got to self-advocate. Definitely you got to be vocal about your education. When you're having difficulty, meet with your teacher, talk with your counselor. So you got to be able to self-advocate for yourself. And then for the one of the most important things that we have found out since going into the pandemic, and even before then, read. A lot of times students are not thoroughly reading, and so you may make mistakes. So if you're thoroughly reading through the material as well as reading information that is sent out to you, a lot of your questions can be answered without you stressing or having anxiety about it. So it is imperative that you read the information that you're receiving from teachers, from counselors, from everybody, so that you can maximize your success. And then you want to execute what you can control. There are going to be things that you can't, that are out of your control, like when your teacher is going to give this test and things like that. So you want to be thoughtful about not allowing yourself to get so caught up in those things that you can't control, because that brings on a lot of stress. And we do see that in with our ninth graders, that if you get caught up about things that you can't control, it does lead to a lot of negative consequences. So just be thoughtful about those things that you can control, and those other things that you can't control. You have, they're just beyond what you can do. Complete all work and submit before deadlines. That's one of the huge things as as you've adjusted to your ninth grade year. You see that your teachers have expectations, and so work is due on a specific date, and then you may have a certain amount of days beyond that to get it turned in. So when you are afforded that opportunity, please take advantage of it, because if you come up and say, well, I turned in work, it's 2 weeks late, and my teacher hasn't graded it, then more than likely we can assist you with that, because many of your teachers, or all of them, have a date that they are no longer going to accept work. And so after that, it's very little that you can do. And everything that you do now is going to affect you as you move forward in your high school career. So all the grades that you make now are going to affect whether you get into a certain college, whether you get a scholarship, those type of things. And so you don't want it to be because you became lax or distracted and you just didn't get work turned in on time. So that's very important. So then you want to get involved in school, get involved in different activities and clubs and sports. Um, it makes your transition here much smoother. Your Let's say, for instance, as I was talking to a student the other day, a lot of the students, when they come to Woodville or any choice program, they don't know a lot of people when they get here. So when you get involved in different activities, it gets you, you learn to build friendships. It just makes the transition much smoother because you feel like you belong. And so that is what we want you to do. We want you to feel like you belong here because you do, and we want this transition to be smooth. So as a parent, we want you to please help us enforce the school's rules and policy. Like, for instance, when I was saying about the teacher and deadlines and things like that, please help enforce that, because it makes the teacher's job, easier whenever they have the backing of the parent. And you know, um, the kid is not saying, well, I turned it in, but I don't have a grade. So mom and dad, if you can help us, make sure that your student is turning in on time, then you don't have to set up meetings about grades not being in, or students receiving a zero for a grade and that type of thing. So that is one of the main things we wanted to touch on today. And we want you to work with staff. When we collaborate, things always turn out positive. So a lot of times, when you are, like, for instance, you don't always have to set up a meeting when students are doing bad. You can always set up a meeting with your teacher if they're doing good, and you want to just kind of meet with them and touch base, and kind of find out what can you help to do to help them be better in your class, or that type of thing. So work with staff, work with the administrators, work with the counselor to ensure that everything your child is doing is putting them on the path to success. And then you want to demonstrate patience and understanding, because sometimes teachers have a lot of things on their plate, and they may not be able to get back to you within a 24-hour time period. So if you're having a frustration or anything like that, please just demonstrate that patience and understanding, because a lot of things are going on currently. There's so many moving parts a lot of times. Since we've been in COVID, sometimes people are out, and the children are ill, or that type of thing. So demonstrate patience and understanding, because that is what we're going to do if that situation happens to your family. If you do have an issue or a problem, and it's is continuing, you can always reach out to myself, or Mr. McGuire, or Dr. Nelson, to help resolve that issue. And then you want to formulate good habits at home that are conducive to school success. So Good habits at home are ensuring that your students are getting enough rest, so they're not coming in groggy and irritable the next day, and then they're sleeping through class and missing content and not doing well. Making sure that they eat. A lot of times, students don't want to eat school food, so if they don't eat at home, it's very hard to pay attention if you're not getting something to fuel your body. So just formulating good habits, good, organization skills, time management, that type of stuff. That will help the students be successful in school as well as, in the workforce, at home, just all around. And then contact teachers ASAP. If you feel like there's an issue, definitely don't wait. Go ahead and contact the teachers. Reach out and ask, if you receive something and your students say, well, I thought I passed that, but this is a failing grade, or um, just anything that, catches your attention and causes you concern. Go ahead and reach out to that teacher. Don't wait, because a lot of times if you wait, sometimes it's too late, and then it may be at a point where that student can't make up work, or they can't repair any damage that's been, done earlier in the year. And then, of course, the student is in jeopardy of having to attend summer school. And then the school's role in the student success is, of course, to keep the students safe. And so we do try to make sure that we make ourselves accessible, so students know if there's any issues or concerns that they have regarding peers or anything else, they can come talk with us. Um, we're going to provide resources that will aid students in positive academic outcomes. That means that we're going to sit down with them. We're going to talk about different strategies if they're having struggles, that's going to make them more successful. So we're going to, just provide all the resources that we can. Make sure that they're aware of tutorial. Make sure that they've reached out to their teachers. So we're going to go through all those steps with their students to make sure that they are um, putting their best foot forward in terms of being successful. And then we're going to provide high quality instruction. And our teachers do that every day. Your students are in class for 90 minutes. And so they get a lot of instruction in a block. So we have high quality teachers, and they have high expectations of your students, and that's why we have such success when it comes time to graduate, because the expectations is high, and our students strive to meet those expectations, and they've been very successful. So we are going to continue on that format. It has been successful for us. We're going to prepare students for college, workforce, or military, and that was just kind of piggybacking on what I just said, um, because when you're preparing them academically, then you are setting them up, or we are setting them up to be successful in college, workforce, or military. It doesn't matter which area they go in. So we're going to work with families to address concerns. So everything ties into how we all working together to make this journey as successful as possible. And so we're all in this together. I was talking to a student today, and when we say it takes a village, that means it's all of us in this together: the student, the parent, and the school. So that is our goal. And so please reach out, student or parent, tonight, this afternoon, if you are having any problems or if you have any concerns. I know we just completed the registration process, and if there's any students that didn't complete the registration process, or have concerns in regards to registration, and they want to meet with me, please reach out to me. I can set up a meeting one-on-one. I can call you from class, or I can meet with your parents, because like I said, I'm in this um, with you guys to make sure that you're successful. So we're gonna get into, how do I earn a high school diploma? So for Savannah Chatham County School District, the students need 24 units to graduate. Credits need to be earned in specific areas, and we're gonna go through those in the next few slides. Students are required to complete 20 hours of community service by the completion of their junior year. So we're going to go a little bit deeper into community service and what is expected for that during this presentation. So do expect more information about that in the next few slides. So for English, and this is where we're talking about in specific areas. For English, students are required to have 4 credits or 4 units. They are required to have ninth grade literature, American literature, or an equivalent AP course, um, and 2 additional English core courses. Now, the options that we have here at Woodville are going to be 10th grade lit, British lit, dramatic writing, and an AP or dual enrollment course. So just be aware your students must have ninth grade lit and American lit. And then they do have the option after completing these 2 requirements to choose their next 2 English core courses. For math, you're going to see that students in ninth grade have to have an Algebra 1. Algebra 2 is in 10th grade. Geometry is in 11th grade. And 12th grade students do have an option of pre-calculus, statistical reasoning, or an approved 4th option for math. And then you will see some of those options listed: foundations of algebra, advanced math decision making, dual enrollment math courses, those type of courses. Now, I did put the 9th, 10th, and 11th, and I did put the grade level, but bear in mind that a lot of our students do come to us having credits from middle school. So if your student has, come to us with credits from middle school, then you know that of course they're going to be on that next level. So if you had a student that received Algebra 1 in 8th grade, then in 9th grade, that would be Algebra 2 for them. So I wanted to clarify that. Or we do have students that come to us with the accelerated algebra / geometry classes or courses, and for them, the courses that they would take, because they typically take the accelerated algebra and / geometry courses in 8th grade. So when they get to us, they would go into Algebra 2. So they would go into Algebra 2. And then the next course for them would be pre-calculus, and then they would have an option of statistical reasoning, or the approved or another approved 4th math option. For science, students are going to need 4 credits: biology, physical science, or physics. So some students will receive a physical science credit in middle school. So if they received a physical science credit that counted as a high school credit, they do not have to take physics. However, physics is looked highly upon and looked favorably upon on those college applications. So a lot of the students do still take physics. However, it is not required if they already have that physical science credit. We do also have chemistry. It's going to be required, and then a 4th science from the Georgia Department of Education approved course list. And for us, most of our students would take a forensics class, or a AP biology, or another AP course, or environmental science. And so they have a long list of 4th science options that they can take to fulfill that 4th math credit that is required for graduation. And then as you can see, it's always going to say at the bottom, note an AP or a dual enrollment course equivalent may be used. So you always see that at the bottom of the slide to let you know that your student can also do a dual enrollment class, or like I mentioned, that AP biology to fulfill that 4th science option. So for social studies, now it's going to say 3 units, but the students are required to have 4 courses. So for world history, they're going to get a full credit. For American government, the state says they have to have a half a unit, but we do not have half credits at Woodville, so this will be a full unit as well. United States history is also a full unit. And the economics, the state said that a student has to have at least a half a credit, but we do have a full credit of economics here as well. So while 3 units is required for the state, for Woodville students, they will have 4 required courses that must be taken in order to fulfill graduation requirements. So here is information in regards to the world language path. So you're gonna see college pathway right here, and so that means for interest into the University System of Georgia um, institutions, a student must have 2 units of the same language. So that's a Spanish 1 or 2, or Spanish 2 and 3, or that kind of thing. If the students have tested out a Spanish 1, so we do recommend that they do have 3. However, for the University System of Georgia, or most 4-year colleges, they do require at least 2 years of the same foreign language, as well as for the world language pathway. The students must have at least, I'm sorry, for the Cta pathway, um, the students must have at least 1 unit of a world language to complete that Ctae pathway. We do recommend that they have 2 units, but they must have at least 1. And so additional courses that are going to be required, health and personal fitness combined. Students receive 1 full credit for this class, and almost all of our ninth graders will have taken this class this year or are currently enrolled in it. It is required by the state of Georgia. This is the only PE class that is required. So if you hear of, I got to take world weightlifting or something like that, no, ma'am, that is not correct. You only have to have the health and personal fitness combined to meet graduation requirements. And then electives to add to a minimum of 24 total credits. So once you have completed the academic requirements, and that's the 4 English, 4 math, 4 science, and 4 social studies, and then you have completed 2 of the world language courses, at least 2, then you want to look at the CTAE pathways and other electives to fulfill the rest of your graduation requirements, to make a minimum of 24. Our students normally graduate with 30 something credits. They just have so many, they have a lot of credits. Because if of course, if you're taking 8 classes a year, that's going to give you at least 32 when you graduate. So our students have well over what is needed for graduation. So we typically don't have an issue with graduation. As you know, we have 100% graduation rate. So I would say we're very successful in making sure that our students have all of the credits that are needed for graduation. And so I wanted to go over Georgia's pathways. The advanced academic pathway states that the pathway may be completed with an AP or dual enrollment level course in any of the following content areas, which is English, math, science, or social studies. And so that is the core content areas. So in order to complete a advanced academic pathway, your student has to have 3 classes in this pathway, and then the 4th class has to be an AP or a dual enrollment class, is what that is saying. For world language pathway, you must complete 3 units of credit in any of the language areas found on the state list of approved courses. Now, here at Woodville, we do offer only Spanish and French. And so those 3 credits have to be in the same language in order to finish that world language pathway. We do have students that complete both a French and a Spanish pathway. So that, it doesn't just limit you. If you're really strong about languages and you want to finish more than 1 language pathway, you can do that. The CTAE pathway is required at Woodville. We are a career and technical, or technical and career high school. So a CTAE pathway is required for us. This pathway is completed with 3 specific courses in a CTAE approved pathway. And that's the list of courses that you saw when you completed the registration form. Um, and so, like for instance, when you completed, let me just think of one, um, culinary or any pathway that was listed on the form, you saw that there were 3 courses listed there, and those courses have to be taken in sequential order. You can't take the first one and then drop down to the third one. You have to take those courses in sequential order in order to be prepared for that end of pathway assessment at the end of that pathway. So um, if you need to go back or if you need me to post it, please let me know. I will post that form again, showing all of the pathways and the sequence that they have to be taken in. SCCPSS also requires one additional CTAE course for a total of 4. So although the CTA pathway um, to complete it is requiring 3 classes in that particular pathway, you do have to take one additional CTA course for a total of 4. And that is a SCCPSS requirement. So this is just a little bit more detail about advanced academic pathway. And we did want to provide this because we do have a lot of students that are going to be participating in dual enrollment and taking AP courses. So we wanted to let them know how this can benefit them. Students can graduate with more than one pathway. They can graduate with all 3 pathways. So just wanted to go a little bit deeper in so you would understand each one, and then you can let me know if you have any questions. So students may choose from English, math, science or social studies, and then they must meet all of the following requirements. You have to earn 4 required units in the selected core area and earn a minimum of 2 credits in the same world language. And on top of that, the student's course history must include at least 1 AP or dual enrollment credit in the core subject area. So let's say if you chose English. In order to complete this pathway, you may have a 9th Lit, 10th Lit, American Lit, and then you want to take, make sure you have your 2 world language courses, and then you also want to make sure that you have registered for an AP class, and we do have, I'm sorry, I had to close my door. And we do have AP Lang, American Lit here, so your student can take that AP Lang class in order to complete the requirements for this academic pathway, or they can take an English 1101 to complete the requirements for this pathway. So that is just an example of what the advanced academic pathway would look like if they selected English, and it would be similar for all other core content areas. The world language pathway, students must earn 3 sequential credits in the same world language. They may choose from any state approved world language. Now, like I was saying before, we do offer Spanish and French. However, there through a program called GAF, students can take additional courses. However, that program is no longer, covered by the district. So if you choose to take anything other than the French or Spanish, then you would have to pay out of pocket. And those classes are fairly expensive. They can run about $600 a class. So we do, unless you're just, able to, pay that amount of money, we do just encourage the students to take the French or the Spanish courses here. The third course may be high school credit or reflect an AP or dual enrollment credit in the selected world language. So the students may take a Spanish 1, Spanish 2, and then they can take an AP Spanish Lang. Now, typically here, though, our students take Spanish 1, 2, and 3, and then they go on to the AP Spanish. So that's a typical course sequence for us. So just so that you keep that in mind. It makes them better prepared for that AP Spanish, or they can take a dual enrollment class if they choose to for that third course. So I know that may be kind of confusing here. Just in speaking with the kids normally do well if they do the first the Spanish 1, 2, and 3, and then AP. But for the world language pathway, it does not have to be that way. But we do encourage them to take those additional class, so that they are better prepared. Because that AP class is going to um, potentially give them a college credit. And so, if they're going to go into that AP class, we want them to be as prepared as possible. So, for the CTAE pathway, the pathway is completed with 3 specific courses in a CTAE approved pathway, plus 1 additional CTAE unit. We currently have 14 pathways, so students have a lot of different pathways to choose from. Again, the student does need to complete a pathway. All of our students should be on track at this particular time to finish a pathway by the end of their 10th grade year. I think I mentioned before that when you start a pathway and you have completed at least 2 courses in that pathway, then you're going to be finishing that pathway. We don't want students kind of bouncing around, and then by the time they graduate, they haven't completed a pathway. So that is to ensure that the student has a completed pathway by the end of their 10th grade year. So, for instance, if they have already taken culinary 1 and 2, but they're not really interested in culinary anymore, um, then they are probably going to finish that. They are going to finish that culinary pathway, but they have plenty of time to go into the pathway that they may have decided to switch to. Because with of course, with the 4 years that they're here, our students normally finish a minimum. A lot of times it's 2, but a lot of times they finish at least 3 pathways before they graduate. And then they also have to have at least 1 world language class in order to finish that CTAE pathway. So 3 courses in a specific pathway, and 1 world language is required for the CTAE pathway. And I did want to update you. I don't know if everyone was aware. The state did get rid of a lot of the GMAS exams. So what we are left with currently is going to be the American Lit, Algebra 1, Biology, and U.S. History. And so it has dropped down to just 4 courses that still have a GMAS requirement at the end of that course. And of course, those exams count for 20% of a student's final grade. So the classes your students should be taking this year, if they're not if they're on that true 9th grade track where they didn't come in with any high school credits from middle school, then they would be taking a biology, um, and then they would be taking an Algebra 1 GMAS this year. So some students may have already taken those, but those are the remaining courses left with a GMAS. So I did say we were going to go a little bit deeper into community service. So students are required to do a minimum of 20 hours of community service at a nonprofit organization of their choosing by the end of 11th grade. And so I did forget to mention this, but you can pick up the community service log, which is the next point, for myself or Miss Moore. And Miss Moore also has information about where your student can do community service. So if you don't have anything in mind, and you don't really know, where is a good place for them to get those community service hours, Miss Moore has been instrumental in finding those opportunities for students and sharing that information with them. So you can always go to Miss Moore for that information. Now, everything has to be done, by the end of their junior year. But typically, I just want to just make you aware. Typically, when students are doing the community service hours, they get multiple hours, 4 or 5 hours at one time. For a lot of events. And so it does not take them long at all to finish those 20 hours of community service. Uh, the form must be submitted to me with the signatures of the people who supervise you. And then when you come with the completed form, you must have a 3 paragraph essay outlining your experience. So make sure that if you have a completed community service log or form, please have that essay to go along with it, because it is not complete unless you turn in the essay with it. And then students may begin service as early as the summer before the ninth grade year. And of course, we do encourage you to do more than 20 hours. Now, I say, we're still in COVID, a pandemic. So I do encourage you to do more, but please, just make sure that you're doing it in a safe environment where you feel safe to get those hours, and you're not putting yourself any um, kind of, danger if people are not following protocols and things of that nature. And so we're encouraging you to do those community service hours, because not only does it benefit the community, it looks very good when you're applying for scholarships in colleges, because they do ask for all of those different aspects of a student. What kind of clubs were they involved in? What kind of community service projects did they do, or did they lead? And so we do encourage you to do more than the 20, but the 20 is what is required for graduation. And then it's just a good resume builder. Um, when you're able to put, all of those accomplishments and all of those things, all of those ways that you have been able to give back to your community. Now, for the individual graduation plan, the IGP, this plan is a reflection of the Georgia and the SCCPSS graduation requirements and pathway options. So you can access this in PowerSchool. You're going to click on the graduation planner link in your PowerSchool account. And then it's going to list the courses required for graduation, and it's going to display your progress toward completing the requirements. And so this is a good way for you and your parents to kind of sit down and monitor, what do you have, what do you still need, and then if there's something that is missing, come up and say, Ms. Nobles, I don't have this class or anything, because I try my very best, and so far we've been doing really good. But I don't want students to sit back and know that they don't, they need a class and they haven't been scheduled for it. Or if they have a concern about, maybe they haven't been scheduled for the class yet, they can always ask me, Ms. Nobles, I haven't been scheduled for this class. I don't know if I'm going to be scheduled this year, and I just want to check with you. So I don't mind that at all. Um, the IGP is updated at the end of each term as you earn credit for courses. So you should be able to go in and check your IGP. Please let me know if you don't have access to it, so that we can make sure that anything that gets corrected, so that you and your parents can monitor what you have as we move further along in your academic career or your high school career. And I will also, what I'm going to do is I'm going to post the career pathway, as well as the academic course sequence again on It's Learning, so that when you're looking at your student's IGP, you know exactly what courses are required. Because sometimes it's easier if you can print it off versus trying to go back to a PowerPoint to see what was needed. So I'm going to post it on the ninth grade um, It's Learning page. And then Woodville's enrollment policy. I did want to go through this because um, it's important that you understand, um, with being in a choice program, you do have to remain on track for graduation. And that does mean passing your courses. If you're not on track for graduation, then you are violating the Woodville's enrollment policy. And so do keep in mind that if you're failing classes and not passing, then you're going to be in jeopardy of going back to your zone school. We want all of our students to remain with us. You were chosen because of your high your motivation and your efforts, and we want you to continue on that path. So I did want to just point that out. I know sometimes different things go on, and um, students get behind, and that is one of the reasons we want you to take advantage of all those resources to make sure that your students remain on track. We don't want them to be in that place where they could potentially be sent back to their zone school for not meeting academic requirements. So if your student is in ninth grade this year, then they are part of the 2021-2022 cohort, and their graduation year is spring 2025. And with that being said, in regards to academic success, if you're not passing, then you can't stay on track with your cohort, and you're not looking to graduate in spring of 2025. And so that will put you back, at your home school. And so please let us know if you're having any difficulty. Let your teachers know so that we can address anything and make sure that you're getting all the help you need in order to be successful in your classes. Now here is just some counsels, guys. So you're gonna make sure you learn the Georgia high school graduation requirements, and that's just what we went through: the 4 English, 4 math, 4 science, 4 social studies, health and personal fitness, 1 credit, 2 credits of a world language, so that even if you're not sure if you want to attend a college at this point, you are setting yourself up to have multiple options when you graduate. So definitely at least 2 world language options, and then a Ctae pathway. So definitely you're gonna hear that a lot. 4 English, 4 math, 4 social studies, 4 science. You must have those, and then the other things that I went over. And so by the time you get to your senior year, you're gonna be sick of it. So, but that is just to ensure that we are all on the same page. We want the parents to be aware. We want the students to be aware. That keeps everybody accountable, and to make sure that everybody is going to be walking across that stage in 2025. You're going to strive for and maintain a high GPA. Um, you're going to learn about the Hope Scholarship requirements for eligibility, and we're going to go into Hope Scholarship a little bit more in the next few slides. You're going to create a Georgia Futures account on georgiafutures.org. Now, all my ninth graders should have a Georgia Futures account at this point. If you do not have a Georgia Futures account, please go there today or tonight, this evening, tomorrow morning, no later than tomorrow morning, and create your Georgia Futures account. Once you sign in and create this account, when you create this account and sign in, this is how you're going to track your Hope GPA. You won't even have to come and say, Ms. Nobles, can you tell me what my Hope GPA is? Because you're going to be able to see for yourself, where you are, what do you need, that type of thing. And so it is imperative, mom and dad, because when you're looking at your students going off to college, um, and the financial cost of college these days, it's very important that you're keeping up with that Hope GPA as well. We want all our students to be Hope eligible upon graduation. So you're going to go to georgiafutures.org. If you have any problems, come see me. I don't mind going to the Media Center, but it is pretty easy. So you shouldn't have to, but if you need to, don't hesitate to come up. I take students over to the Media Center all the time. It's a quick process. It doesn't take long at all. We can get them in and out, and they can be back in class within 10 minutes. You want to attend classes every day. Please make sure you're attending classes every day. And then if something happens for whatever reason you don't attend class that day, reach out to your teachers and see what did you miss, or what can you do if you're able to, if you're not sick or anything like that, to make sure that you're up to date on things in the class. That would prevent you from having a lot of stress on you. So please just make sure your attendance is good, because it is going to reflect in your grades. You're going to get involved in one or more activity, like we talked about earlier, a club, a sport, or another organization. And then you're going to schedule an individual graduation plan conference with your counselor. Again, I with I begin to learn my ninth graders every year, and I love to see y'all faces. So, with me calling you, if you want to go ahead and schedule yours and be proactive, go ahead and schedule it. You don't have to wait on me to call you. You can go ahead and schedule yours, and I'll go ahead and get you in if that's what you want to do. I'm flexible, so if you want to go ahead and make that schedule that meeting, we can do that. So for Hope, um, and I did not mean to put that in there, but Hope eligibility and scholarship information. So this is just the information in regards to Hope eligibility, just some things that you need to be aware of. It does everything doesn't apply to your student, but meeting U.S. citizenship or eligible non-citizenship requirements, meeting the post-secondary institution residency requirement. Being enrolled as a degree seeking student at a USG, or which is a um, University System of Georgia. TCSG is the Technical College System of Georgia, so that you're familiar with those terms, or eligible private school in Georgia. And so you do see a link to the eligible colleges or universities in this PowerPoint, and I will post the PowerPoint. You're going to be in compliance with the Selective Service Young Men registration requirements. You're going to meet academic achievement standards. And then the last three, not the last three, but um, you're not going to have student loans or anything like that coming out of high school, but you're going to be in compliance with the Georgia Drug Free Post Secondary Education Act of 1990, and you will not exceed the maximum Hope Award as you're coming out of high school either, because dual enrollment does not affect your Hope hours. So if you had a concern about dual enrollment affecting your Hope hours, it does not. It doesn't touch your Hope hours at all. So some more information. Um, uh, for a Hope Scholarship, you must have a grade point average of 3.0 or higher. If you have a 2.999, it is not going to round. You must have a 3.0 or higher in order to be eligible for Hope um, in, when you graduate. So that is where all of your classes come in and have a huge effect on whether you're going to be eligible. You don't want to get to your senior year and a C or something like that prevents you from having being eligible for Hope when you're upon graduation. So do take every class that you take, in high school seriously. And I always tell students why we focus on Hope a lot, because it is a way for students to um, finance their education. When the colleges ask me for the transcript and they ask me for your high school for a GPA, I'm giving them your overall cumulative high school uh, GPA. Your high school GPA is going to include everything that you took, from your academics, your electives, everything. Hope is only going to look at your academics and your higher level foreign language classes, like Spanish 2 and 3 and AP Spanish. So just keep in mind, when I am submitting stuff for you in the future, everything that you take. So even if you think these classes are not important, every class is important, because it is going to count towards your cumulative high school GPA. And that is the one that we normally submit to the colleges. So do take every class and look at it, give it the same importance as you would an academic class. So you're going to meet academic rigor requirements, and you're going to complete a specific number of academically rigorous courses as identified in the academic rigor course list. And I did provide a link to that. All of our students meet academic rigor requirements because it is built into our academic course sequence. So when your student graduates, there's never a question of do they have the rigor requirements. It's just if they have the GPA. because the rigor course, the classes that we provide here at Woodville are included on that rigor um, um, course list that you can click on and find more information about using this link. So again, the rigor is going to be there because we're going to provide that. It's going to be based upon the grade your student receives in the class. So it's going to be, you have to have a minimum of 4 rigor credits. And that's going to be in the advanced math, advanced science, and advanced math would be a pre-calc, algebra 2, statistical reasoning of dual enrollment class. Advanced science would be chemistry, physics, those type of courses. Um, and so that's just an example of what the class is, forensics for science. So those are just some examples, but you can go through that course list and go back to our academic course sequence to see what type of courses we provide. And you'll see that the academics that we provide here at Woodville does give them the rigor that they that is required for the Hope scholarship. So I did not put Zell Miller on here. It looks like it got cut off. So um, I do encourage everybody to seek Hope, the Hope Scholarship. However, we do want our students to be able to get that Zell Miller scholarship. And so when you sign into Georgia Futures and you create your account and everything, it's going to give you information on Hope Scholarship, and it's going to give you information on the Zell Miller Scholarship. The Zell Miller is that's the one you really want. That Zell Miller is going to require a 3.7 GPA or higher, and then a 1200 on the SAT or a 26 on the ACT. However, this is going to, instead of covering a portion of tuition, it is going to cover 100% tuition. So please go when you get into, you create that account on Georgia Futures, and um, you sign in, and on that left hand side where it says My Hope GPA and that type, you're gonna see that. Please go into that and find out more about that Zell Miller scholarship as well as the Hope scholarship, so that you can best prepare your student, moving forward in the next few years, to either get the Hope or Zell Miller scholarship. So this is the Hope Scholarship eligible list of colleges. You'll see the list of public colleges here that accept Hope, private scholarship, private colleges, as well as the technical colleges. So you can kind of go through these colleges and see what institutions you're interested in, and then just be prepared as we're moving forward, and knowing that the college that you want to attend does um, like it does provide you to the Hope Scholarship for that particular college or university. And so, what you want to do, since you've gotten all this information, you want to claim success. And the way to do that is ask yourself, who do you want to be um, in the future? Who do you want to be? What kind of person do you want to be? You want to be a successful person? Then what am I doing in order to be that successful person? What does it look like? What does success look like for you? Some students may say that, I want to go into welding, and I want to work at the port, and that is my lifelong dream. So you got to identify what success looks like for you, and then start yourself on that path by accomplishing the goals necessary to fulfill um, those aspirations that you have. So claim your success, and then put the time in, um, so that you're willing, so that you are going to be successful. You have to be willing to put in the extra effort, put in the extra work in order to be successful. It is hard sometimes. You're going to have setbacks. And so you have to be motivated once you identify what success looks like for you and who you want to be. You got to be able to stay motivated. And so that is going to be imperative as you move forward, staying motivated and staying on the path to your goals. And so you want to make sure you have your GPA, you have a good GPA, because like I said before, we want you to have those options. Whether you decide down the road, whether you want to go into welding or you want to be a doctor or a lawyer, you have those options. Um, to choose what you want to do, and you're not confined to say, well, I can't do this because I can't go to this school because I don't have the GPA. I can't achieve this occupation because I don't have the GPA. So you got to start now, guys. You got to start working on what is your future going to look like, and what are you going to do to make it the best future possible. So you're here at Woodville for a reason. You can do the work. Uh, a lot of people apply to Woodville. We have wait lists and everything. Uh, but you're here because it's been shown that you can do the work. You are intelligent. Um, you are hardworking, and so that has been shown, and that is why you selected to come here. And so we're going to keep encouraging you to keep doing the things that you did to get here, because it's going to get, high school is just what it is. It's going to get harder as you advance to each grade level. So, um, just keep doing the things that you were doing to be successful, um, because that is what got you here in the first place. And just in conclusion, do your very best, ask questions, and get help when needed. Use your time wisely. We are on a block schedule, so a lot of times it may be where you can finish your work in your class, or you can ask for assistance right there in your class because you have the time to get the assistance that you need. Uh, don't make excuses, because that is not going to help you be successful. And successful people don't make excuses. They take responsibility for their actions, and then they learn what they need to do to be better. And then when you have questions or concerns, make an appointment with your counselor to discuss. So I do want to thank everybody for attending this afternoon. And if you have any questions, please put it in the comments. Let me go over here and see. Oh, awesome. Thank you, Miss Degadillo. Miss Degadillo, I want to announce to everybody, is our star teacher this year. And we went to a banquet for her today. So I want to again congratulate her. She is just one of our awesome teachers here. And I hope your students are able to take her class while they're attending Woodville. All right. I hope I kept it short and sweet. You'll learn from me that I do not like long meetings. So, um, if you have any questions after viewing this meeting, please reach out to me. And again, thank you all for attending this afternoon. Mr. McGuire, are you on here? Then Mr. McGuire had to step away. So I look forward to getting to know all of my parents and students as we move forward on this journey to graduation. Y'all have a great day.